Hi everyone, today we will see the story of the movie, Selfless. The movie begins with a New York real estate billionaire named Damien Hale. He is also known as, the man who built New York. His wisdom and experience earn him the respect of both his business partners and competitors. However, Damien's life took a sharp turn after he was diagnosed with a terminal cancer. His doctors told him he has no more than 6 months to live. Damien has accepted his fate until his business partner and longtime friend Martin gives him a mysterious card from a company called Phoenix Biogenic. The company claims that they have developed a way to extend his life. Damien visits the company to see if it fits him. Inside the building, he meets with the head of the company, Dr. Albright. He tells him that the procedure is called shedding, and it allows humans to transfer their consciousness into a new body which is designed and grown in their lab. The doctor tells him that he is lucky to be their client because clients are not chosen merely by their wealth, but instead by their future contribution to the world when their consciousness is salvaged. However, Damien leaves without agreement, saying he doesn't like the company's secrecy. The next day, Damien visits his daughter Claire, who runs a non-profit organization in the city. They don't have a good relationship. She blames him for not giving her fatherhood love during her childhood, while he blames her for working a meaningless job at this organization. But now he wants to at least spend his last moments with her. So, he invites her for a sundae, but she declines, saying she's too busy. Knowing her organization is low on funds, Damien offers a check, but Claire rejects it, scolding him for thinking money can solve all problems. Annoyed by her behavior, Damien moves out of the house. Back at his office, Damien searches about shedding online and finds a lecture by Dr. Francis Jensen, who envisions a future where healthy minds are not limited by their aged and sick bodies. While watching the video, Damien coughs up blood and collapses in his chair. In his recovery room, he calls Dr. Albright and agrees to undergo the shedding procedure. Albright informs him that he can't return to his old life once he gets a new body, and he must ignore anyone he knew before. Albright also stresses that Damien's death must be public and suggests staging it at a restaurant called Commander's in New Orleans. Damien prepares for the procedure and heads to New Orleans, but first stops at a cemetery to bury a metal box. Damien meets Martin at the restaurant for lunch and orders the coffee Albright suggested. Moments after drinking it, he feels drowsy and falls to the floor. He is then placed into an ambulance, but instead of heading to the hospital, he's taken to Albright's lab. Upon arrival, they check if all the metal fillings in his teeth have been removed. Albright informs him that the machine used for shedding is a giant magnet, and any metal could disrupt the process. Damien and a younger body are simultaneously placed inside the machine. When the procedure finishes, he sees his old body covered with a sheet on the bed next to him. After the procedure, Dr. Albright visits Damien and shows him that his death is now official. Suddenly Damien experiences a vision glitch and a flashback he has never seen, but he refrains from telling Albright about the moment. The doctor then tells him to rest and get prepared for the next day's training. With his new younger body, Damien undergoes basic training to learn how to walk, run, and swim. Albright gives him a medication to help cope with the side effects of shedding. The scientist warns him that without the drug, he will suffer from migraine, nausea, disorientation, and even death. To complete his story, the company gives Damien a new identity. His name is now Edward Kidner, born on September 20, 1980, in Phoenix, Arizona. After Damien finishes his training, Albright takes him to a place where he can start his life with a new house and a new car. He tells him that the company has transferred his money into a new bank account. However, he gives him only 7 pills for the side effects. He informs him that they will meet weekly to refill his pills, and in exchange, the company will study him as a research subject. The doctor assures him that this arrangement is temporary, and he can live wherever he wants within a few months. Although Damien feels as though the offer is a leash, he accepts it because he doesn't know if other pharmaceutical companies can produce the pills. To get along with the locals, Damien participates in various activities, such as playing basketball with locals at a nearby court, and meets Anton, who takes him clubbing to welcome him to the neighborhood. Damien enjoys his new life, regularly partying with Anton and living a younger life again. One day, Damien forgets to take his pill and begins to experience hallucinations and memory flashbacks, seeing himself in a military operation and a woman caring for her child near a pumpkin-shaped water tower. When Damien asks Albright about the visions, the doctor dismisses them as scrambled old memories fueled by unresolved emotions. Albright suggests that the Latina woman could be someone from his past one-night stand. But Damien points out he never mentioned the woman was a Latina. Albright immediately changes the subject by giving Damien a ticket to Hawaii for a change of scenery and twice as many drugs, assuring him the hallucinations will stop if he takes them regularly. When he gets back home, Damien searches the pumpkin-shaped water tower online and discovers it's in St. Louis, Missouri. He then goes to the cemetery to retrieve the box he buried before the procedure. In the morning, a driver from the company arrives at his house to take him to the airport. After he passes the security check, Damien leaves his Hawaii trip and instead buys a ticket to St. Louis to check the place he saw in his vision. Upon arrival, he finds the water tower and a nearby house. No one responds when he knocks on the door. But he enters the house since it is not locked, and finds mail addressed to Madeline Bitwell which describes total hospital expenses for Madeline's child who had undergone heart surgery to be over $200,000. Inside, he is shocked to see photos of himself with Madeline and her child, realizing the man who once lived in his new body served in the military. Suddenly, Madeline enters with a gun pointing at him. When Damien turns his face, she is emotionally broken to see her husband Mark once told to be dead. As Madeline tries to comprehend the situation, a man knocks on the door looking for Edward Kidner. Damien opens the door to find the man is the driver who took him to the airport. Distracted by another man grabbing Madeline, Damien is tackled and pinned down by the driver. Anton arrives and explains how Damien ended up with Mark's body, saying that Mark approached Phoenix Biogenic after his daughter's treatment expenses weren't covered by insurance. Meanwhile, one of Albright's agents is burning Madeline's truck with a flamethrower. They want to kill Madeline in a way that looks like an accident. Damien tells Anton he needs to go to the bathroom to take his pills, and the driver follows him to make sure he doesn't escape. After taking the medication, Damien attacks and kills the driver. Upon hearing the noise from the struggle, Anton and his agent approach the bathroom. Damien shoots one of the agents on the shoulder, but Anton tells the agent not to shoot back, saying Dr. Albright needs Damien alive for research, so he tries to negotiate with him. Suddenly, an explosion takes away Damien's attention for a second, which allows Anton to disarm him. They struggle until Damien tackles Anton out of the house. Damien immediately runs back inside as Anton tells his guy to shoot him. While Damien tries to wake Madeline, Anton orders his guy to burn the house. As smoke fills the room, Damien and Madeline escape through a floor hatch and get to a perfect place to shoot the agents. Damien shoots the guy holding the flamethrower, causing him to fall and set Anton on fire. Anton runs to a tub of water to extinguish the flame. Damien then kills the other operatives and leaves the house with Madeline. While on their way to the van, Damien explains he made a deal with Phoenix Biogenic to save her daughter Anna, and disappearing was part of it. But he doesn't want to tell her he is not her husband, thinking she is not ready for this news, so he is acting like her husband Mark. After fetching Anna from school, they check into a motel. At night, Damien searches his pocket to take his pills, but soon he realizes that he dropped the medication while fighting with Anton. To find another way of getting the medication, Damien moves outside and Googles shedding neurology. He then finds a link stating Dr. Jensen died in a public library. Watching Jensen's video again, Damien notices Jensen and Albright shared the same behavior while touching their eyeglasses. He realizes that Dr. Albright is Dr. Jensen. He then starts hallucinating and remembers when Mark met with Albright in the lab. The next day, Damien along with his new family drives to New Orleans to visit Jensen's wife, Dr. Phyllis Jensen, who is now in a nursing home due to her Alzheimer's disease. Pretending to be Jensen's student, he tries to access her husband's research, but she doesn't know its whereabouts. When he learns that Albright visits her weekly, he convinces Phyllis to call and ask him to come over. When Albright arrives, Damien points a gun at him and demands to give him more pills. Albright explains that the medication not only stops hallucinations but also keeps his consciousness intact. Without it, Mark's consciousness will resurface, and each dose erases parts of Mark's memories including his military training. If Damien continues taking the drug, Mark will be gone for good within a year. Damien asks Albright to take him back to the lab, but one of Albright's agents disarms him. As they walk outside, Madeline tries to approach him, and Albright's driver hits her with the car door. Damien uses this as a distraction to break free and protect her. He kills the driver by snapping his neck. Another agent tackles him and tries to strangle him, but Madeline shoots him in his temple. Damien hears the man calling him Eddie and notices Anton's necklace. Anton reveals he's undergone multiple sheddings. He then tells Madeline that her husband has secrets, and she can check this by asking Damien if he knows her birthday. Damien takes Anton's pills and drives away with Madeline and Anna. At a gas station, Madeline confronts Damien and asks him if he knows anything about their past life together. Damien tells her that he has taken over Mark's body and Mark's consciousness is buried. He explains the guys she saw earlier are from the company her husband signed a deal with, and they will kill both of them if they catch up. Damien convinces Madeline to follow his plan until they become safe, and Madeline agrees with him. After a long drive, they reach Martin's house to ask for help in getting out of the country. Damien tells Martin that he went through shedding and survived. However, Martin refuses to believe until Damien shows him a deed to the first building they bought together and tells him what they did when they celebrated their first successful deal. After being convinced, Martin prepares a plane for them. While waiting for the plane, Damien teaches Anna how to swim. After the lesson, Anna gets back to the house, and when she hears a noise from another room she follows it. Damien and Madeline soon start looking for Anna after Damien notices that all the mirrors in the house are covered. When they enter a room full of toys, they see Anna playing with a young boy. Damien takes Anna and tells Madeline that the boy is Martin's young son who died 2 years ago. Martin confesses that he had contacted Phoenix Biogenics when his son died. He then tells Damien that the company's agents are already waiting for them outside his property. Damien tells Martin that the bodies that Phoenix uses are not genetically engineered and grown at the lab as the company claims, rather, they are taken from living people. After learning the truth, Martin decides to help Damien and take Madeline and Anna through a safe path. Martin tells Damien to meet them at a truck stop, where they will be waiting for him. Damien drives out of the house, and 4 cars soon emerge and begin shooting at him. One of the drivers notices that Damien is alone in the van, so Anton orders another driver to check Martin's house. After a long struggle, Damien manages to escape the cars and leaves Anton crashed into a tree. Outside the house, Madeline and Anna get lured into the car of Phoenix's agent as Martin tries to catch up to them. Damien waits for them at the truck stop, but only Martin arrives. Martin tells Damien that he tried to stop them, but they got into the car before he could do anything. Martin gives Damien some pills and shows him the formula for the pill which he reverse-engineered for his son. Damien refrains from taking pills for the day, hoping he will discover the location of Albright's laboratory in his visions. He soon learns that the lab is located in an abandoned warehouse that stores Mardi Gras floats. Damien breaks into the lab on his own and comes across the shedding room where he sees Anton and another man lying down on a gurney. Albright arrives and tells Damien that he has recovered Anton 3 times already, and he has become more loyal to him each time. He reveals that Madeline is being prepared for shedding for another client, and her daughter's organs will be harvested. Damien shoots Albright through the glass, but he soon discovers that it is bulletproof. As the other guards arrive to subdue Damien, Albright tells him that he will use Mark's body to transfer Anton's consciousness. While the guards struggle to restrain Damien, he puts a bullet casing in his mouth. After completing the procedure, Albright starts asking questions to test if it was successful. When asked how many children he has, the man smirks and says he has none. After leaving the shedding room, the man asks the agents where they are keeping Madeline and Anna. He then kills the 2 guards who were watching them. Meanwhile, Albright notices the bullet casing inside the shedding chamber and realizes that the man is not Anton, instead he is Damien, since any metal disrupts the shedding process. With guards shooting at them, Damien, Madeline, and Anna end up in the viewing room next to the shedding chambers. Albright feels confident that Damien will not kill him because if he does, there will be no one to provide him with the pills. Instead, Damien looks around the room for something he could use to smash the glass and sees the flamethrower. Damien starts revealing the formula of the drug to let Albright know that he doesn't need him anymore. He then fires up the flamethrower to burn the bulletproof glass and kill Albright. Damien sends Madeline and Anna on their way to the Caribbean. He then visits Claire's office as her father's friend and gives her a letter from her father, expressing his remorse for not giving her fatherhood love. After leaving the office, he looks back up and sees Claire through the window smiling as she reads the letter. Days later, he wakes up in a room that is unfamiliar to him. He sees a laptop on the other side of the room and clicks the video file on the desktop. In the video, Damien addresses Mark, informing him that he was the one who bought his body, and expresses his gratitude for giving him a few months of his life. He says he has stopped taking the pills, and he has waited days for Mark to regain control of his own body. Damien welcomes him back and asks him to take good care of his wife and daughter. Mark soon arrives at the island where Madeline and Anna live. When Madeline sees Mark, she initially thinks he's Damien but soon realizes that he's Mark by watching the way he is hugging her. She then calls out to Anna to finally be with her father. Thank you for watching till the end. If you liked the video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to watch similar videos.